Hi, welcome back to the Scent Advocate. Today I want to talk about Le Labo fragrances in my collection. I recently acquired 3 more. I now have 5. I happen to be in Las Vegas where I did quite a bit of perfume shopping, and they have a boutique at the hotel where I stayed, and I went in and tested everything. It was a wonderful experience, and I ended up getting 3 new fragrances. But I'll tell you about all the ones in my collection. Starting out with the first one I acquired, which is Baie 19. And this fragrance is in 100 ml. And I got this for, about $350. And I absolutely love it. This is, I think, most often described as a petrichor, so that fragrance you get after the rain, right? It's a smell of, in warm weather, rain hitting the earth. So very earthy, a little bit animalic, mossy. So the official notes in this are juniper, musk, patchouli, cade, and broxin. And it's definitely not giving all of those notes when I smell it. The juniper, it's there, but it's really combined in a special way with that musk and patchouli to make something all its own. I love juniper. I always have. I don't know if you remember years ago, they used to have at Bath and Body Works this incredible juniper body spray. I don't know if they've discontinued it. I haven't seen it around in a while, but I haven't been into Bath and Body Works in a while either. Anyway, it was very, very different from this. So something about this taps into the earthiness of like a moss, that smell that you get when walking through a wet forest trail. This one is a little bit more perfumey than other petrichors I have in my collection. And I think it's the amount of juniper, the cade as well, which I think is a juniper resin. Really gorgeous stuff. Not as severe, I'll say, as another that I wanted to talk about, just to kind of give you a comparison, which is Marisa Zappis's Petrichor. This fragrance, because of its name, right? I mean, there's no doubt about what it's supposed to be. This is much more earthy. It leans a little bit more masculine. It's ruddy. It's fantastic. And very, very different from Baie 19. So if you are inclined to get both, obviously, I don't think they're duplicative. Very, very different. Both giving you that earthy, dry, kind of mossy dirt, having been hit by the rain, and with renewed life and a freshness to the air, mixed with the trees around it, the green, dark trees around it, with a heavy dose of juniper. Baie 19. Next is Santal 33, which I already had in my collection from the Labo. This is 50 ml. I got this for about $250 approximately. This fragrance I tested for a while because I've read a lot of reviews saying it smells like pickle juice, which can happen even to me with sandalwood fragrances, which this primarily is. So just to give you a quick overview of the notes: sandalwood, cedarwood, iris, violet, cardamom, ambrox, and leather. I think when sandalwood is combined with leather, I get the possibility of pickle juice. I think that's what may be happening with other folks, but for me, I see why, but it doesn't smell like pickle juice on me. There's simply a brightness to it, maybe almost a slight dillweed, but it's softened by the iris and violet. That powdery accord just kind of mutes it down, makes it really, really beautiful. And I will say that the way it presents on skin is, for me, very different than the way it reads on paper. It is a classic. I think it's a quintessential sandalwood fragrance, really beautiful. Just that brightness, I think, can throw some people off and it can be perceived as a dill pickle. Like I said, don't get that. I think this is a beautiful fragrance. I highly recommend it, but test it first. Make sure that it's right for you and you're getting the enjoyment you want out of it. Santal 33. Next, we have Eucalyptus 20. I wasn't sure what to make of this. I love eucalyptus as an air freshener. Not something I'd necessarily want to wear. The way it hit me on the paper was very different from day to day when I tested it. So I was in Las Vegas for a few days and I ended up going back to Labo more than once. And I'm really glad I did. To be honest with you, I get no eucalyptus. I suppose if I think about it really hard, I could maybe see some, but this comes off as an herbal woody fragrance with more wood than herb. So the notes in this are eucalyptus, cedarwood, labdanum, musk, and frankincense. So I think the cedarwood is really strong here. The musk and frankincense give it a depth that takes away from that ultra green herbal eucalyptus that we all know. There can be a sharpness, I'll say, to eucalyptus fragrances I've experienced before in the form of air fresheners, never on skin or in the form of a perfume. This reads completely differently to me. This is fresh with a strong wood backbone to it. This fragrance is 50 ml. It cost me $235 and I did buy it in boutique. So I had my name put on it and that kind of added to the fun. And of course, they do the actual bottling in the boutique. So if you've never been to a Labo and you have the chance and you want to buy a fragrance, it's probably worth the experience to actually go in and have them create one for you right there as you watch. They've got like a little lab to the side. It's very cool. It gives it something extra, something special. And I think that juxtaposes with the very simple packaging of the fragrance. Certainly I have no problem with these being a spectacle in my collection. I tend not to like audacious fragrance bottles. Some of them are, to me, just a bridge too far. I don't mind ornate packaging, but sometimes for me it can go too far in the other direction, and that's a turn off. I won't even try some fragrances because of the packaging actually turning me off. That is not the case with Labo and Eucalyptus 20. For those who aren't huge fans of eucalyptus, I say try it anyway. I'm so glad I did. Okay, next we've got Noir 29. I didn't know what to expect with this one. I saw the word noir and I associated it with night, not necessarily black tea. I don't speak French, so that probably didn't help. But it's referring to the fact that this is supposed to be a tea-based fragrance. I am really glad I gave it another chance. So I think I had gotten a sample a while ago. I don't remember it affecting me or me being blown away by it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't anything special, but trying this in boutique and trying it on my skin again. Okay, so this comes off very floral in the beginning. And for those of you who've watched me over time, you know that I don't care for florals. And this is very lilac, springtime floral, very much so. I get no tea in the opening at all. The notes are black tea, bergamot, fig, cedar, vetiver, bay leaf, and musk. Where the floral is coming from, I have no idea. I think the expression of the bergamot with the tea gives that floral accord. If you've ever had Earl Grey tea, it's got bergamot in it. It's something of a flowery scent. This doesn't smell like that, but it, like that tea, has a floral accord. But the florals I'm perceiving are very, very different. This, by the way, is 50 ml, and it was about $250. As the fragrance settles, you do get the fig. And I happen to adore fig. This is a ripe fig. It is not the kind of green fig you get from the diptyque fragrance Velocicos, which is, much more kind of verdant green fig. this is a purple ripe fig. There's a dryness to this fragrance, and I think that juicy fig kind of balances it out. The bay leaf, I'm not getting a clear bay leaf expression, but rather an herbal accord. The musk is there in the background, but it's not jumping out at you. It gives it a slightly animalic backbone, but very, very slight. In fact, I think animalic is the wrong word. It's a little bit earthy, which melds beautifully with the tartness of the black tea. I think this is absolutely stunning. Noir 29. Okay, last in line is Iris 39. I've been on the fence about this fragrance for a long time. Although I don't like flowers, I shouldn't say that. Although I don't like florals. I love flowers. I don't like floral fragrances as a rule. Iris is an exception, one of very, very few. But this iris presents very differently. This, again, is a 50 ml, paid about $250 for it in boutique. This is definitely iris, but it's iris with, wow, just an edge. It's very hard for me to describe exactly what's going on with this, so I'll read you the notes. Iris, violet, lime, patchouli, rose, ylang ylang, musk, ginger, cardamom, and civet. This is an earthy iris. It is, to me, the ultimate expression of iris in a very authentic way. Now, that is not to say that if you put an actual iris to your nose and smell it, it's going to smell like this. This is iris taken to its extreme, a very artistic expression of what iris on steroids would smell like. It's got the earthy, natural accord of a real flower in its actual bed of earth, and what that environment smells like. Yet it's soft and powdery in a way that actual iris probably would never do in nature. So this is definitely something worth trying. If you think you've had iris that you love, that's all well and good. This is iris in a more artistic direction. This is a Picasso of iris fragrances as opposed to, a very realistic still life. So, and it was definitely worth the wait. I really wasn't sure, but when I got it in boutique and I put it on my skin and I had the experience there, I just knew. It's kind of like that for me. I don't know, is it like that for all of you, where, it's almost as if you're embarking on a relationship, you're making a commitment. I think it's because of the price points of some of these fragrances. They're not always inexpensive. In fact, quite the opposite. So when you work hard for your money, like I'm sure we all do, and you part with a large amount of it, relatively speaking, you want to be sure. When fragrance lets you down, at least for me, it lets me down hard. When I'm disappointed in a purchase, it's very upsetting. I think because in some instances I feel I've paid more than what would be a fair price for the fragrance, right? In some instances you're paying for marketing and, all of these other ancillary intangibles associated with, rent for a boutique and all that stuff. You know how it goes anytime you buy a luxury item. That's just the way it goes, and we accept that reality when we make the purchase. But when you make the purchase, having accepted that reality with money you worked hard to earn, and you experience a disappointment, wow, it's just bad. So with Iris, I moved forward. I'm so glad I did. Gorgeous stuff. So do you have a favorite Le Labo fragrance? If so, let me know in the comments what you like best. Are you riding the fence with any of them? Tell me what you think. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not yet a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to build up the channel. Talk soon. Thanks. Bye.